Alrighty, we are on Notes 3 of Unit 5. So, last time we did one-step equations. We solved for x by doing opposite operations. We're going to use what we learned last time to build into two-step equations. We're going to add a whole extra step on what we did before. Now, it's not going to be a whole lot, but I want to make sure you are totally confident with one-step equations. Before we even start, I want you to go ahead and pause and see if you can solve these four problems. If you can, we can move on. If not, I want you to go back to the previous video and make sure you are totally confident with the steps to solving one steps. Okay, go ahead and pause. Alright, let's make sure you're right. So I'm going to undo all of the operations in these four problems by doing opposite operations. Where I have x minus 8 equals 4, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So I find that x equals 12. In the second one, I'm going to solve for x by subtracting 10 from both sides. That leads me to find that 6 minus 10, x equals negative 4. Over here, I'm going to do a similar process. I have 3 times x. So to solve for x, I'm going to do the opposite. Divide both sides by 3. And x should equal 9. For the last one, I have x divided by 2. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. And find that x should equal 38. If you didn't get those four answers, you should really go back and work on one-step equations. If you're solid, let's keep going. Previously, we solved one-step equations, finding the value of x by performing opposite operations. This time, we're solving two-step equations. It's mostly the same. So the ways that it's the same is that we're still finding the value of x, and we're using what we see to solve. We perform opposite operations, and we plug in x to verify our answer. What's new is that we work from the outside in, and you'll see what I mean very soon. We're also performing more than one operation. But the most important thing is that very little is actually changing. If you can solve these two equations, x plus 10 equals 37, and 3x equals 27, let's solve them. Subtract 10 from both sides here. Subtract 10 from both sides, I find that x equals 27, and then here I can solve this by doing divide by 3, x equals 9. Since I can solve these two, I can solve two-step equations. Given an equation, let's say 2x plus 5 equals 25, we solve it in two steps. This is because no single operation can get x all alone by itself. Instead, we have to peel away the outer layers of the equation and dig into x at the center. We're going to work from the outside in. And what I mean by that, I'll show you right here. I have this 2x plus 5. I want to start with the operation that is farthest from my x. Now, this 2 is stuck pretty close. I'm going to go farther out to this plus 5. In general, I want to get rid of my adding and subtracting first, and I'll do that with opposite operations. So this 2 is next to the x. I'm going to go to the outside and subtract 5 from both sides. I'm working from the outside in, so I choose the farthest operation. When I subtract 5 from both sides, I'm going to subtract 25 minus 5 here and get 20. And I haven't done anything to my 2x yet. I left my 2x alone. So I bring that whole thing down, and I end up with 2x equals 20. So I can solve this too, right? All I do is divide both sides by 2. And I find that x equals 10. Two steps, simple as that. First, we eliminate the outside layer by adding or subtracting. Then the inside layer with multiplication or division. Another example. So here, my outside layer, my farthest thing from the x, is minus 10. I'm going to get rid of that with plus 10. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. Okay, didn't do anything with my 6x, so it comes down. And I have 8 on the other side. 18, I apologize, because I have 8 plus 10 is 18. Then I divide both sides by 6. And then I'm left with x equals 3. Two steps, simple as that. For this last one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, since it's the farthest operation from x. I take 9 minus 1 is 8, and I didn't do anything with my x over 4, so it comes down. X over 4 equals 8. I get rid of the 4 by multiplying both sides by 4. 4 times 8 is 32. And when I multiply the 4 here, it goes away, leaving x to equal 32. Okay. Before you flip to the back, I want you to try these checking understanding questions. These are two-step equations. Make sure you do both steps by going from the outside in. You're going to do your addition subtraction first, and then your multiplication division. Go ahead and pause, and come back when you're done. Okay, great. Let's flip on over. On the back, we're going to continue our concepts of two-step equations. The front side of these notes covers the very basics of two-step equations. Work from the outside in. Eliminate the operation farthest from the x first, and then the next closest operation. On the front of these notes, that meant we added or subtracted first. Then, we multiply or divide. This time, we're doing the opposite. There will be situations where you have to multiply or divide, then add or subtract. It'll be up to you to figure out the order. The principle remains the same. Work from the outside in. So this time around, I've got my x plus 2 inside parentheses. That's going to tell me that this plus 2 is the closest thing to my x. The reality is, this 3 is what's on the outside. The 3 is farthest from the x. That means to solve this out and get x, I need to divide both sides by 3. So I'm dividing the whole thing by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And now that I've gotten rid of this, I can bring x plus 2 out without parentheses. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is solve the inside by subtracting both sides by 2. Don't need my equal sign there. And 3 minus 2 is 1, so x equals 1. Next, I'm going to do the same thing here. My x minus 4 is on the top, and they're pretty close together. What I actually want to do is get rid of the 5 first. My 5 is farthest away, so to get rid of it, I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. This cancels at the bottom there, and then on the right, I'm going to do 2 times 5, giving me 10. This leaves me with x minus 4 equals 10. Then, I'm going to add 4 to both sides, finding that x is equal to 14. Once again, 2 steps. I'm still keeping everything organized. My left is on my left, my right is on my right. And I'm doing all of my work under the operations I'm basing them on. In both of these situations, the plus or minus is snugly held next to the x. It's closer to x than the multiply or divide. It's closer to the x than the multiply or divide outside. That means we do the multiplication or division first. Work from the outside in. Okay, let's do a few more of these. So, my minus 6 is inside with the x, so I have to get rid of the 2 on the outside first. Divide both sides by 2. That leaves me with x minus 6 equals 10. Okay, I add 6 to both sides, add 6 to both sides, and I find that x equals 16. For the next one, my 4 is also on the outside, so I divide both sides by 4, divide both sides by 4. And I have x plus 5 equals 8. Then I subtract 5 from both sides, so 5 from both sides, x equals 3. Continuing on, I have my x plus 2 together on the top, and my 2 on the bottom is farthest away. So to get rid of that, I multiply both sides by 2. Okay, that cancels out the bottom, and I have 2 times 2 equals 4. X plus 2 equals 4. So, to get rid of my plus 2, I subtract 2 from both sides. 4 minus 2 is 2 again, so I find that x equals 2. One more. To get my minus 4 is next to my x. That means I work on the outside first, which is divided by 7. I get rid of division with multiplication, Multiply both sides. 3 minus 7 is 21 equals x minus 4. Then I add both sides by 4, and I find that x equals 25. Okay, so I want you to practice with several of these questions on the bottom in our checking understanding. This will take a little bit of time. Take it slowly and make sure you get the correct answers. After each of these, I want you to check your work and to plug your answer back into the question to make sure you are totally right. As always, I want you to ask me if you have any questions, and once you're done, you can go ahead and either practice more or move on to the formative. Thank you very much, and you have a great rest of your day.